everybody, I'm Savannah and welcome to Let's Get on Brand, where mission meets design. So I am here today with the wonderful Yiyi Zapata, and we are going to be talking about building your brand, communication, and so many other things. But Yiyi is a content manager for a global nonprofit. She also has so many other talents and skills. She's a host of so many shows. She's like behind the scenes on everything, so the talent is huge. So Miss Yiyi, can you just share a little bit about your journey, how you got here, and just who you are?
Of course. Thank you for inviting me, for having me today. I'm super happy of being here because I know how much this means to you. In the creative community, they were in need of something like this. So I'm super proud of you and thankful for being here. Okay, so yes, my name is Yiyi Zapata. I've been working with media or communications for more than 20 years already. I'm pretty young still, I promise. But I started like when I was probably 15, 16 on radio and TV in my local church, actually, back in Colombia. But then I started professionally going to school for journalism, even though I started with industrial engineering, and don't even ask me what happened there because I don't even know. But then I went to school for journalism, so I am a journalist, and I did my master's in organizational communications and management of communications. So that led me to working for private organizations as well as public organizations and then nonprofit organizations. Wow. But in the meantime, in all that route and all that journey, I went and hosted shows on the radio. I did a little bit of TV. I have always been doing things on social media. So that's how I got here. Now I'm leading a team that does content on a global scale for Latin America specifically. And we base everything globally. So we cater to the Latin America community everywhere in the world. So that's what I'm doing right now, and that's how I got here.
No, that's so cool. I was sharing with Yiyi earlier. I was like, okay, we've known each other now almost 2 years.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't exactly know how you got here.
I know.
So that's really cool to see like just the journey of
it is crazy.
Industrial, like whatever.
Yes. Engineering, whomever, every time I say that, everybody's like, you? Yeah. Engineering? Because my husband is a civil engineer. And he actually finished and he's actually a civil engineer. So when everybody looks at me, when I can even calculate the tip for a restaurant bill, they're like, no, that's impossible. And I'm like, that's why I mastered in journalism. That is why. But yeah, like the journey has been not only very meaningful, deep, complicated. Yeah. Because whomever tell you it's super easy is just plainly lying to you in your face. But it's been meaningful. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy journey. It's been a crazy ride. But it's so fulfilling that actually it makes everything, and when I mean everything, it's your personal component, your talent component, your work related component, like every single thing in a way actually meshes and kind of like creates this synergy that a lot of the things that, for example, my family, some of them, they have businesses. Yeah. And they're like, what do I do if I need a website? I'm like, I don't do websites, but I got someone that does website. Oh, what do I do can I use Canva? And I'm like,
You're like, yes, but here's how to do it well.
Not only that, please don't create a logo in Canva if you can actually, go to a designer to create it for you. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and that's one of the things that I have learned in my career, that there are people that can do anything. That is a reality. That doesn't mean that I'm the best at doing so. I can be I can tell a video editor, this doesn't look good, but put me in front of that computer to edit it. That's impossible. I'm not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that I always encourage people to understand in their personal journey, professional journey. You can be really good at a lot of things. That doesn't mean you're the best. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to be the best to do something. Those are two different things. Yeah. But it will be perfect and amazing to help someone else create and build around their potential. Yeah. Because regardless of anything, we all were given talents and abilities and gifts that they're for us only. Yes. They're intrinsically yours. And that's one of the ways that you can actually make your journey possible, and at the same time you could facilitate the journey for someone else as well.
Yeah.
And put, like, giving them the opportunity to grow, to fulfill their potential, their calling, and even discover a new hobby or discover a new passion or a new career path, because that can happen as well.
Absolutely. And it's so cool because you don't know, like you mentioned, how something in your journey is going to impact you now.
Yes.
And maybe studying industrial engineering, then there's something in there that's going to benefit you now and today. And you've been with this global organization now 12 years after some light in LinkedIn stalking.
Yes.
But you've been there almost 12 years, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So you specifically work more in communications and content.
Yeah.
What have you felt has been maybe some of the most difficult things to work with on that global scale?
Yeah, maybe trying to make people understand. And when I say make people, it's not in a negative connotation. It's more on the sense of we might not be able to understand somebody else's context if we're not there, if we're not with them, or at least understand profoundly where they're coming from. But for example, one of the most difficult things is making people understand that Latin America is different. Yeah. They don't consume the things that we might think here in the States are super popular and perfection and they're so viral or they're so this and this and that. They might not work the same in Latin America. Not because of the trendability of said things, because in Latin America, you can see the replication of a lot of the trends that happen in design, in social media, in content creation, in videography, even music. But the context is different. So we call, like, that process, we call it localization when it's coming to a global scale type of thing. Like, for example, something is in English, then we localize it because you can easily translate with ChatGPT nowadays. You can do a lot of things.
Every day.
Literally. But, like, you can translate, and ChatGPT or any other type of platform, Claude, Gemini, whomever you want to use, it's great, fantastic. I'm not saying that it's not, but I do feel that in a way, it's kind of like removing that human error and element that you still need in order to be a human and reach out to people. So I think that understanding that the context for every region, for every person, for every profession, for every type of people is different has been one of the most difficult things that I have had to face. Because I have faced things that are very difficult in for example, I don't know, leading people or I don't know, helping people make decisions or influencing someone to kind of like go with your idea or stuff like that. That's hard. But it's not as hard as making people understand why what you're saying in the global scale, global context for a specific region. Mind you, this is on a very specific situation with our global scale type of organization. But when it comes to creating content for yourself, when it comes to your own brand, you need to contextualize everything. Like, for example, I remember when we were working on a rebrand for a project that is mine, that it's called Ámate Más, which translates to love yourself more, I think. And I remember that I told you, do whatever you want. I remember saying, whatever you come with, I love it. And then you were like, okay, I need to know more about this. I need to, and it's that what I'm trying to say. Like, you get the context, and then you can see the vision, and then you can make that vision something clearer. So I do think that that's something that is very complicated or difficult to face. But regardless, if you are an open-minded person creatively, and even if you don't have a creative bone in your body, then let yourself be guided by the creatives. Because it's the same that happens in organizations, companies, for-profit, non-profit, personal branding, churches, however you want to call it, however the situation, let yourself be guided by the ones that know. That to me, and at the same time, you're actually actively helping people to get better every single time as you get better in your own regard, like I think that could be a good thing to do or put in mind.
Well, it's funny because in a previous interview with someone who also works with this global organization, we were speaking about just that collaborative effort and how that makes such a big impact in building a brand too, because it's more than just one voice. It's I mean, how can you take an organization and say this is one person, right? Like, yeah, sure, like you can build around a person, but ultimately there's so many different creatives and maybe non-creatives that add to it as well. And so that collaborative process is super important. And just like our process in building a brand, right? Communication and design play a role together.
Oof, now that you mentioned that, there's something that I love about the fact that, like, I see this process in creative aspects of like a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle till this day on keeping my mouth shut. I've been married for 12 years as well. Actually, my anniversary was recently. And I remember telling my husband, what's one thing that you despise? And he goes, sometimes you talk more than you need to. And it's true. And I don't see it as a bad thing, because when I go back and I'm not as heated in my head and my blood in the moment, I'm like, oh, why did I say that? And the same thing happens when it comes to creating and having that communication and that design communication, because you cannot expect creative people to move along, move forward, create, be in their best potential application if you don't actually communicate clearly.
Yeah.
Now, what should we do? In my case, managing people that are creatives.
Yeah.
You have to give them space. For example, I was mentioning this to someone today or one of these days, and I was saying, you need to release people. Release them.
Yeah.
Because we're not called to micromanage. Yeah. We're called to manage. When you think about the concept, and this applies for people that are not managers. I'm the manager of my daughter, for example. and one thing that I always think is, and it has caused me pain, tears, friendships, and even at some point learning lessons the hard way, because sometimes we want to control so much that when we do not release, everything starts snapping. You know, like when you have something so like constricted like this, that it gets to the point that the plastic starts like and it breaks because it's hard. And instead you can release and then you build that contention wall with your managing, and then it's easier to kind of like put everything into. But you can only do that with great communication, because good design cannot happen without good communication.
Absolutely.
And if not, you're going to have 1,000 revisions, and the client or the person that's going to you as a creative, it's going to have 1,000 more revisions. I don't like this. Why, if you can change this? Now, there are a lot of picky people out there that they believe they know better than the ones that know.
Yeah.
And that's something else that this would be a message for those people. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Please don't. Please let them work. Let them do what they know how to do. And if you don't like them, then don't make them waste their time.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, you're not doing a favor to them nor to yourself. So it doesn't matter that it's an organization. It doesn't matter that it is your family. It doesn't matter that it is a personal passion project.
Yeah.
You have to understand that you have to release and manage. Release and manage. It's the same thing for everything else. That's why I mentioned the marriage component, because communication is key in order to have that opportunity to make something grow. It's the same with design. You start from a baseline, and then the designer starts asking questions and trying to know what is it that you expect, what is it that you need, what is it that you love, what is it that you do, what is it that you actually want to put out there. Yeah. And then based on those types of communication and answers and questions is where you can actually gather all the information that the creative needs.
Yeah. No, and honestly, it applies, like you mentioned, it could apply to small teams, large teams, individuals, hiring contractors. It's no matter the size of your team.
Correct.
You can manage this well. Like if you have a group of creatives, a group of different kind of people in your team, it's okay, how do you utilize their different skills well? And especially when we talk about design, communication is a huge aspect that gets left behind a lot, because a lot of people focus on the visuals, like I just want it to look pretty. And I kind of want to transition here to when we worked on your video podcast, right? Video podcast, Ámate Más, which one of my favorite projects ever. And so that was so fun to create. But when we first started working together, there was a miscommunication on there. And so for me coming in as a designer, right, I'm like, okay, this is what we need to get done. So I don't want to give it all away. Tell
That's
me
all right.
a little bit about your experience kind of working on this rebrand for
Yes.
Ámate Más.
Ámate Más is a very close to my heart type of project.
Mm-hmm.
It was created actually for a radio station that was part of the global organization. And in a way was kind of like is my intention with making people understand their self-worth, their self-esteem, and knowing their identity in Christ. So for me, it was kind of like this passion thing. I want to talk to the single people, to the married people. You don't need a perfect relationship. So I was like eager,
and it's also super personal for you.
Correct. So it's something that is a passion thing for me, not only like a project. It's more like I actually think people need to hear about this. So when we started checking the rebrand, I remember like what is it that I want? Because the main thing in my head was like, okay, I'm not that girly. I remember that I said that. I'm not that girly. But I want something that's cute. You know, like I was like, how do I say that? Because that's the other thing. Like one thing that I noticed with communicating globally is that my first language is not English. It's actually Spanish.
Yeah.
I learned English when I came to the States and I started speaking in English very like probably on my second or third year more confidently.
Yeah.
And I will still till this day tell people when I say something wrong, just correct me because I'm still learning. So I was like, how do I express that I don't want something girly, but I want it to be cute?
And you're like, all you knew was you're like, this isn't working.
Exactly. So I was like, oh my God, what do I do? But I love the fact that you as a creative, as a designer, were asking and asking, send me what you have in mind.
Yes.
Just share with me what is it that you want. What is it that makes I remember you said something about like, what is it that makes you happy to look at? Or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, wait. And I started sending you a couple images and then we sat down. You got like, I love that I was managed by you in that creative side of the process because I was like, I need someone to guide me.
Yeah, because you knew what you wanted.
Exactly.
You just didn't know how to get there.
Yes, exactly. So that's my point with let the ones that know do what they know how to do. Because it's the same when I work with videographer and editors and I'm like, I know what I want to see.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get there.
Yeah.
I will tell you that shot is not okay. That color is not okay. That doesn't look good. That's dark.
Yeah.
You know, like I can pinpoint all those things, but I don't know how to make it myself.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't.
Well, I mean, that's why you rely on others, and I think
Correct.
it's okay to do that. Like you said, we don't have to wear all these hats.
Yes.
Like there's things that I've dabbled in that I'm like, I will not do that again.
Yeah.
Not that I'm horrible at it, but I'm like, this is not my strongest skill set.
Yes.
And that's okay. But what I loved about Ámate Más was that we really started from the ground up because you had thought about it a lot. Obviously, it had meant so much to you. But anyway, how do you show that to other people? Not only visually, but also like in the meaning and what it's saying. So we started with mood boards, like grabbing images. I remember your Pinterest board. I was like, I love this. This is so cute. And it was exactly what you wanted.
Yes.
It was the vibe you were going for. You're like, okay, I like this. I like these color schemes. And I was like, this is amazing. And then we kind of like step by step kept going. And I remember a question I asked you that you like touched on was like, okay, what is your brand's personality? Like what characteristics? And I was expecting like a few words, like, you know, like, oh,
and
she's
I went
fun.
like that whole
I had a whole description. I was like, wow, I know her.
It was literally me describing the whole thing.
No, but everything, you're like, she likes books on the weekends and this, and I was like, yes. I was like, this is
but
everything.
You know, that's the side of people. When I tell people be open-minded and don't be cheap with your information. Like, you know, like don't hold back. Yes, thank you. Don't hold back, because you know what happens? Like I was literally describing you, the person. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm an avid reader. So for me, describing the vibes, it's very easy, but I don't know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? So when you asked me that question, I felt prompted to look inside of the brand in itself, of what that was for me and what I was thinking it was going to mean for other people. That it got to the point where if you weren't that professional and push me and prompted me to give you that information, the brand couldn't be what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I do think that process we cannot leave it to be just the responsibility of the designer,
Mm-hmm.
because we, as the people that are requesting some type of service or work or whatever, we have to be very generous with our hearts, our minds, our information, the things that we want, the things that we do not want.
Yeah.
Because if we don't do that, then we're gonna have a really bad time.
Yeah.
And not only that, you're not gonna have the result that you're expecting, and then you're not gonna be able to blame the creative.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not only their fault. You know what I'm saying? There's a 2 and 2, a 1-on-1 type of thing that if they're not combined, then it's gonna be harder.
Absolutely. And what I think the biggest takeaway from those, I call it a questionnaire, but I really should call it like a deep dive or something more intense. But those questionnaires, what they bring to light for me, it helps me build a strategy for your brand. Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people don't immediately connect. Like, they struggle with their brand. Correct. They struggle, how do I put it out on social media? How do I talk about it? How do I have it on a website? Like, there's different mediums that your brand's going to show up on. And when you're struggling to have it pop up in these areas, that means foundationally there's an issue, right? Yeah. So you had this foundation of like, I know what I want to say. You had an identity, right? But what was missing was the visuals to match. Correct. So you're already a step ahead. And so it was just kind of formatting all of that to bring that forward. And what helps me is seeing a questionnaire like that, right? When you filled it out, I'm like, okay, I can build a strategy because you've given me so much content. Yes. Where for me, I struggle, and I'm sure other designers too, is when there's a lack of that information on those questionnaires, because really what it shows is you don't have a strong brand identity. And that's more like your message, your vision, your mission, which you had all that. So it was great, but those two always tie together, your brand identity and visuals.
But even then, that's when you hire a consultant. Yeah. And that consultant can be a brand designer, which is not the same thing as just a graphic designer. Yeah. Because at the same time, you have to think about strategy. You have to think about, what's the purpose? What is it that you want to achieve?
Who are you talking to?
Who are you talking to? What are you getting? What are you getting from this? Is it that you want to incur in sales, maybe? Dabble in courses online? Maybe you want to dabble in merch? Maybe you have to kind of like have this vision. Yeah. And if you don't have it, but you just have the key points here and there of things that you want to achieve, cool, then you need a consultant. Yeah. And for that, you need a brand designer. You need someone that can guide you as a strategist to build what you need to build and to clarify and remove kind of like the noise and get clear and, that sounds more like I want. Yeah. Or, no, not there, maybe here. So in some type of way, I could say that all of this can be in a way directed to being completely raw and honest with yourself. And I say this in Ámate Más actually a lot in the messages. You need to be completely raw and honest with everything in your life. Yeah. If you're not, there's no way that you can move forward. Yeah. There's no way that you're gonna get unstuck. There's no way. You have to be raw and honest. And on top of that, being vulnerable. Yeah. Because like what it means to me, for example, that passion thing that I created, it might not mean the same for somebody else. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So the effect that can have in my life or the life of the person that received the message on the other side, it can be different. You know what will be, in my point, like from my point of view, the link between the two? The image, the branding, the consistency. That can create that, because when that happens, you don't need the language. Yeah. The visuals can do it all.
I mean, look at me. I'm designing fully in Spanish.
Exactly.
And I don't even speak Spanish.
Ayudando. So yeah, that's true.
No, I agree, because it's that first, like, really visuals hook you in. Yeah. But then they're hooking in your audience, right? Yes. If you were going for like a younger demographic, not super young, that's why it couldn't be too girly. Yes. But like that younger demographic, so you're like, how do I hook them? How do I just visually, without them reading a thing, just hook them in? And I remember we created this icon that you used throughout your brand. It acted as like an apostrophe. Yes. It was like a little like
a chat bubble.
Yes, like a chat bubble with a heart. Yes. And I was like, oh, I love this.
Yes, because see, it actually pinpoints what Ámate Más is. But at the same time, I love the fact that people might say, okay, no, you need the language. Yeah, you need it when you're talking to the person. Yeah. But if you don't kind of like grab their attention with something first through their eyes, because the message is not only on audio. It's visual. So if you think about that, then even if you were only audio, you still need a very professional audio editor or a producer to create that for you. You see, it's not only yourself and your thing saying, like whatever you're saying, unless you're recording in your phone and then you're talking to your phone, which is fine. To each their own. But it's so much better when you get acquainted and you actually look for the services of someone that actually know. Mind you, there are a lot of people. I have a friend that had a brand in their heads. Like they were very passionate. And I was like, okay, try to hire someone. And this person goes, I don't have the money. And I was like, I understand that. Save. Try to talk to someone, see how much they charge, and then be completely honest and say, hey, you know what? I don't have the money yet. But I promise I'm going to continue hiring you. And then when I start making money, then I'll start paying you even more. And then they went in, they did it, and now they're making a lot of money. Okay, and that same designer is their same designer today.
Wow.
Still.
Yeah, because they built that relationship.
They both went like boom really big, both of them. And then I have another case of this girl that was is kind of like the creative lead for a big church that I was part of. Until this day I admire her so much because I remember vividly when she said, I have done things that are not my style at all, like I would never do that. But it was needed for the project. So I needed to step out of my comfort zone, think outside the box, start reading books, checking images, checking other type of content. And I was like, wow, that's actually localizing. You're contextualizing what you need for that specific project. And then she said, in communication. I was asking a lot of questions, etc. And we go back to the same point because it's a connector. So I think that could be, that's a gem in my perspective.
I agree.
Communication and design, they go hand in hand, and more so if you are actually aware of the fact that you need that lead, that person to guide you through the process. Because we're gonna do it all by ourselves. That's a reality.
Well, and I think for people, that's the biggest challenge is that like, how do you overcome that way of thinking?
Correct.
Because you need to get to that point. That doesn't just happen. And whether it be financials holding you back, most of the time it's not financials, it's the mindset that holds you back. Because you're like, okay, I know I need to do this, but like, I don't want to. I can do it myself. And true, right? Like you can do all these things yourself, but at the end of the day, what are you putting out there? Because that's what it says about you. Like it's what you communicate, even if it's just visuals. So let's say you only post pictures, whatever. Still, whatever you put out there is what it says about you. So, in your opinion, because you've worked on so many different projects, from design to video, which I mean, it all goes together, right? Just this communications media world, it's like you just bleed. So, in your experience, like what value has design brought to not only the nonprofit organization you work for, but also your personal experiences?
Clarity, for sure, and cohesiveness. Because one thing cannot go without the other. And design ties it all together. Like one of the things that I think has been so valuable, and that I have a friend who you know as well, that's another designer at our organization. And I'm always telling this person, the people that know how to design, the people that know how to make videos, the people that know how to edit, you guys have something that I wish I could have, because you guys see the world in a different perspective. That's the reality. You're finding shapes in everything. You're finding patterns in everything. You're finding colors and meshes, like things. I'm like, where did you see that? And if you think about it, that brings clarity and that brings cohesiveness to whatever it is that you're doing. Mind you, it can be a professional setup. It can be a personal setup. You need that. So to me, definitely clarity and cohesiveness. And you need that for anything to be successful, because you just said it yourself. It can be video, it can be design, it can be anything, any piece of media or any piece of content to put out there, or inside of the organization, even,
Yeah.
you still need that clarity.
Mhm.
And that can only be tied out together by a good design,
Yeah.
by a good branding, by a good cohesiveness. Like having that cohesive element can only be achieved from my perspective,
Yeah.
from the communication side and the tone of voice, blah, 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 and then the design side. If you don't have those two going hand in hand, it's a mess. And that's a reality.
Absolutely. And I mean, you've seen that firsthand, how when you don't have one of those things, it's like it doesn't last.
Yeah.
There's something off-putting, and the audience can tell.
Oh, for sure.
Like, if you think that they're not going to notice that your brand's a hot mess, like, they're going to notice.
Yeah.
And so maybe you could hide some things. But for the most part, like, when you're trying to put yourself out there, whether you're an organization, an individual, a business owner, whatever you may be, you have to start with, who am I? And, like, who am I talking to?
Yes.
And then, what do I want to show them? Yes. Right? That all goes together here. Because, like you said, it brings clarity and cohesiveness to just your message. And we can show up in a better, stronger way. Because we're like, I know what I'm saying.
Right now, makes it authentic. That's the other thing. Nowadays, I remember when I started doing radio, for example, to give you that specific example, I remember that we, as hosts, we needed to make our voice different. And we needed to talk in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, have different tones for different things.
Yeah.
And then nowadays, you don't have to talk like that. You have to talk like yourself.
Yeah, right. What that is never doing.
Like, what are you even doing?
Yeah.
Who are you talking to? You know what I'm saying? Like, that goes with that message as well. It's being authentic. And you being authentic means you have a concise message, so clear, so on brand, so well thought out, that actually communicates what it is that you need to communicate. And this goes with the personal life, or the organizational, however, it can be for profit, not for profit. But all of that goes together. If you start separating and picking apart, something happens there, and it creates disconnection.
Yeah.
Can you do it? Yes, for sure. You can. Can you build something and start creating content out of maybe not having that cohesive thought or idea or message? You could, definitely. You could. Is it the right thing to do? No.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I give this example to now, like, wrap up our series here. I give this example because I find it so funny. So there's a super popular, like, chip brand. So this is to go along with what we're talking about. This super popular chip brand, and they're all about, like, kind of having better ingredients for their chips. So that was their messaging. Well, they started kind of going into the eco-friendly side of things, which everyone's like, what are you doing? Right? So they're like, let's make bags that are, like, eco-friendly, right? So this is already straying from what their brand identity is focused on, which is healthier ingredients. So now they're going into this realm of, let's make better packaging, right? Well, this packaging supposedly was so loud that when you opened a bag of chips, like, it was just much louder than a regular bag of chips, that they actually got banned from college campuses. So their sales tanked because they actually, like, ended up putting, like, a barrier in their own way because they lost sight.
Probably their main point of sale.
Product, and they lost sight of their brand identity. And that just shows, like, I love that example because I'm like, that just shows that when you veer from your mission and vision, and that's why you have to know those things. When you veer from it, like, it hurts you.
At the same time, you have to think about the fact that your mission and vision are one. You're more than welcome to change it whenever you want. But make sure that everything from that mission and vision down is consistent.
Absolutely.
Because you cannot pretend doing that. Like, yes, you want it to be more eco-friendly. Perfect. You need to understand, like, how is it possible that marketing manager or that VP of marketing or that PO marketing never thought of, our main client is colleges or places where they go to school. People that go to school. What do they need in class? Silence. Are they gonna eat something? Do you want it to be nice? No.
But it's just, it goes back to what we've been saying. It's like, do you have clarity and cohesiveness in your message there? And it's just super important. But I think we could probably chat about this for
hours.
We're gonna have to do a redo here. Not redo, part 2. Because, we're
this is my personal bottle. This is my personal bottle.
All the stickers are the ones I made.
All of these are yours.
I did make all those. So, no, fantastic times here. We're just representing the brand subtly, But I'm sure we have to do this again because we can talk so much and I love it. But this has been so fun, and I just want to thank Gigi. I want to thank you so much for being here, taking your time.
I loved it.
And honestly, like I said, we could talk forever about this.
For sure.
And if you just liked the information that you saw today, you can follow Miss Gigi here at Yiyi Zapata on Instagram. You can find her on LinkedIn, though it's not her network of choice.
I don't like it. I can say it publicly. It's fine. I don't like it. Oh
but
my
if you
God.
want to connect with her,
Please don't fire me.
but you can connect with her on Instagram, on other social platforms. She's on there. So this is Let's Get On Brand, where mission meets design. And if you have any questions, feel free to just leave a comment, reach out any way you can. And yeah, I just want to thank you so much.
I just heard so much. I love it. Thank you guys.
Bye. Good job.
You got this so good.